Hi, my name is Chris Bonifas, and I'll be your student's home maintenance and repair teacher this year. I'm going to use this opportunity to let you get to know me a little bit, as well as the class, the grading practices, and what we're going to be doing in the remote environment. First, though, let's get started with a little background information. So this is a presentation I give all the students at the beginning of the year, the basic life of Mr. Bonifas in 5 slides. So I grew up and live in Aurora currently. If you've ever been to the Outlet Mall on 88, it's probably the most visited place in that area. I attended the University of Nebraska in Lincoln and received my bachelor's in education in industrial technology in 2009. After that, I did get married. I have a wife of 6 years, Lindsay, and she's holding my son, Jacob, who's now 1 year and 5 months. He's running around like crazy. And then there's Macy. She is 4 years, about 5 months, and they're both enjoying, I think, mom and dad being home on all this quarantine stuff. But it is nice to be back at work. I have been teaching for 11 years. This is my 2nd year at LT. In that time, I've been teaching engineering design and intro to furniture, along with the home maintenance and repair courses. A little course description with what we'll be doing this year. So even though we're in the remote environment, we're still going to be learning the same concepts that we would in the classroom. We're actually going to be able to get a little bit more in depth probably with some of these, especially with framing, electrical, and plumbing aspects. So instead of building an actual framed wall, we normally build kind of a small version of an actual home wall. Students will be learning about framing. We'll be doing this a little bit in a digital environment using SketchUp. After that, we'll talk about drywall, how to repair drywall, how to install it, and they'll kind of see me give some demos on how to repair that drywall in a few different ways. So they'll learn all the same skills. They'll get to do some activities that engage them as much as possible in those. But unfortunately, we aren't going to be sending some drywall home for them to break and repair, and we're certainly not asking them to put any holes in your walls. So don't let them tell you I said this was an assignment for class, that they had to punch a hole in a wall and try to repair it. So they'll be learning about it, but hopefully they won't to use it too much. If you have some existing holes, obviously, hey, feel free to ask them. They should be able to fix that for you by the end of this class. They'll be learning a little bit about painting and what goes into that as well, exterior and interior painting and how important that can be. Electrical. This is normally a large part of the class, and it is still going to be. We've actually been lucky enough to find an online simulator that is going to allow them to learn how to basically do the electrical work in an entire home. So this is a web-based simulator. They wanted to download anything to do it. And through this, they'll be able to do the same things they did in class with the actual wires and switches and outlets and lights. We normally did that in a small little block where they're only a foot apart as opposed to 8 to 10 feet on walls and ceilings. But they got the same concepts going. Well, in this case, they won't actually be stripping the wire or bending the ends and tightening with a screwdriver, but everything else will be the same. They'll have the same switches, lights, outlets, all of that, and they'll have to attach the correct wires to those things, but it'll just be through the interaction of a mouse and keyboard versus actually doing it. So they'll learn all the same concepts besides the actual stripping of the wire. So we're pretty excited about that and the opportunities that will afford them. After that, we will learn a little bit about tiling and how to grout going along with that, as well as plumbing concepts around copper and soldering and the different plumbing concepts that are out there, such as PEX. We'll also talk a little bit about PVC piping and how to unclog drains and take that apart and how those things go together underneath the sink and different things they'd see inside their house. Grading. As you know, there's been some changes this year. Anything in the grade book that doesn't count towards their total grade is called a formative, and that's basically a practice. So an example might be if they're learning about framing, there'd be three or four practice exercises that they do, and then like a framing test or a framing project that they'd finish up with. And that project or test would be what they're graded on and would be recorded as their final grade for that section. All of the practices before that would not be calculated in the final grade. So they're still important, and the formatives give you a great insight as a parent into how the students are doing on each aspect. If they get a poor grade on the summative and they didn't do 3 or 4 of the formatives, you'd kind of know why maybe the summative wasn't as good. Vice versa, if they did great on the summative and did great on all the formatives, you'd see that way as well. They do get one retake on each summative. They just have to do that within 3 weeks. And in order to do that, they need to have a conversation with me and make sure that they are caught up on all their formatives. If they are caught up on all their formatives and they want to take a retake, obviously that's acceptable as well. We still ask for that conversation just so we can go over the concepts that they might have missed or they might have been confused about, just to give them a chance to improve their learning before just handing out retakes without actually fixing maybe what the misunderstanding might have been in the original summative. There are some course pathways that go along with this. Obviously, your son or daughter is a junior or senior. If they're a senior, this is a non-issue for them. If they're a junior, maybe this is the first building type course they've taken. They do have some options next year where they could take one of the intro furniture classes or the year-long furniture and cabinet making. So those are options. For this course, there is a credit, no credit option that I wanted to make you aware of. This would be if a student wanted to take this course but doesn't want it to count towards their GPA. So at the end of the year, they would just basically get a pass-fail grade. If they want to do this, students would need to email me and their counselor to let us know. And then we would also need an email from a parent confirming that you're okay with this decision and you support it. So we would need those 2 emails if you're interested in that. And I'll be talking about this with the students soon. The information on how to do this actually just came out today. I've told them that there's credit, no credit, but they didn't know how to sign up for it because I didn't know how to sign up for it. So thank you for joining me tonight. If you have any questions, please feel free to contact me at cbonifas@lths.net. Hopefully I'll get to see all of you in person at some point when we're back in a hybrid or something like that. Maybe by parent-teacher conferences, things will be a little calmed down. We'll see. But have a great evening, and thank you for joining me. Bye.